What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Plenty of Tiff. I'm your host, Tiffany, aka Opinionated Diva. Without further ado, grab your drink, pull up a chair, and get comfortable because we have a lot to unpack today. We are covering it all from a $1 billion lottery win that has me decoding my own family tree to Usher's 2% bad boy performance, nude steak dinners in Florida, and a $350 sex toy that completely paralyzed Washington, D.C. traffic. Plus, we're diving into the dark side of tech from Meta's pervert glasses and the rogue police officers stalking women with flock cameras to ICE's terrifying new $20 million shot gloves. It's a wild, wild west out here in the internet streets. So let's jump right into it. The Diva Drop this week, of course, is the Powerball everyone and their mother is talking about. One single incredibly lucky ticket sold in Illinois matched all 6 numbers in Wednesday night's drawing, hitting a crazy, mind-blowing $1.04 billion jackpot. It is officially the largest U.S. lottery prize win so far this year, ending a 44 drawing drought. If you want to check your own tickets just to feel something, those winning numbers were 4, 26, 66, 67, 69, and the Powerball was 9. Now, they haven't released the exact store where the golden ticket was sold yet. They're keeping that location locked down for now while Illinois waits for the winner to come forward. But we do know if they take the lump sum cash option, it drops down to about $450.5 million. And that's before Uncle Sam steps in to take their long, sharp cut. But let's be real. Even after taxes, that is generational, life-changing, never see me again kind of money. And honestly, I'm poor. I'm poor enough that winning $5 on a scratch-off right now is a cause for a full-blown celebration. I'm talking a happy dance right at the counter. Okay. And seriously, I think the odds are so much better once the jackpot actually goes down to the baseline of around $20 million. I mean, 20 million is absolutely nothing to scoff at. You can still buy that mansion. You can still pay off those bills and live comfortably forever. I hope I don't regret sharing that because I don't want y'all running in droves to go play right now. But in the meantime, while we wait for the numbers to reset, the historic win in Illinois is making me seriously reconsider sending in a DNA sample to trace my genealogy, honey, okay? I need to get on Ancestry.com immediately, just in case. I have a long-lost distant relative living somewhere in Illinois who suddenly needs to share their wealth. Because third cousin once removed, I'm right here. Take us. Now it's time for my favorite segment, which is Shine, Shade, or Side Eye. And we have to talk about what happened at MetLife Stadium because the internet has officially lost its collective mind. I'm not talking about the 3-day Jay-Z concert. I already talked about that some episodes back. I'm also not talking about the surprise appearance of Mary J. Blige and Method Man giving us the forever hood love anthem, All I Need. What EYE, am talking about is the fact that people were actually convinced that the man on that stage was not Usher, but a literal clone. A clone. The noise got so loud that Usher himself had to pop up on the tour's official Instagram page and comment, y'all are funny. Clone, they can't clone this. AI ain't that advanced. Now, let's break this down because I am handing out a 2-for-1 special here, a heavy dose of shade and a painful side eye. First, the shade. Shade to every single person who actually thought the king of R&B would send a clone out there on that MetLife stage. Come on now. It looked like Usher to me, right? But, and nothing matters before the but, we must also address the side eye because I'm looking at the footage and while I know it's him, I can see some subtle differences that make you go, but wait. Exhibit A. The man was wearing a turtleneck. A turtleneck? Usher. No one wants to see you fully clothed, least of all the women in that audience. We expect full-on chest and abs, okay? That turtleneck is an immediate flag on the play. Exhibit B. The choreography and those clips that are circulating online. Now listen, those dance moves look like he took a page straight out of Mary J. Blige's playbook and gave us a practice run rather than a performance. The moves just weren't sharp. His footwork was giving a casual two-step. It was giving, I'm tired and I'm ready to go to bed. Honestly, it was giving me vibes of a Bobby Brown clone on a New Edition reunion tour, just trying to make it to that last song, honey, before the final curtain call. So to that end, no, Usher did not use a clone, but the man was definitely running on 2% battery. Speaking of shirts off, next up is a side eye for a spot down in Hollywood, Florida that hosts a monthly nude dinner experience and has been so for the past few months. In the words of a wise woman, isn't it ironic that the place is literally called Class Soiree Steakhouse? CLASS, honey. I'm giving the name alone, side eye, but seriously, Class stands for Culinary Luxury and Superb Service, which I think is great branding and marketing, to be fair. Now, look, I am no prude, but I have never been down with eating food off of anyone. Well, wait, I take that back. Someone actually someone's with an S, but they are all celebrities, so I doubt that they will ever come, but I digress. The whole concept isn't exactly new, right? We've all seen the movies where ladies are laid out naked across the table and food is delicately placed along their bodies as guests enjoy the view and the food. And let's us not forget that resurfaced clip of Diddy's Miami 2004 party where he was eating food in an identical movie scenario. Yeah, I'll just leave that right there. And sex parties, honey, let's just say eating is definitely on the menu. But again, I digress. Back to the restaurant. I am not hating on them at all for doing this once a month, but I am giving it a side eye entirely based on biased reasons, okay? Because aside from the fact that my personal new dining experience will require all the men in attendance be people who go to the gym at least 4 days a week, the thought of eating steak and vegetables in the nude is like an accident waiting to happen, right? Can you imagine a piece of hot asparagus falling off your fork and onto your woo or spilling steak sauce all over your titties? Now, you can't go to nobody's bar or party after dinner because now you're going to smell like Heinz 57. So look, this is a low-key shine because I do give them an A plus for thinking outside the box with an immersive dining experience. But it is heavy on the side eye because no, unless I get an invite, hit me up in the DMs and I'll think about going. Link. Okay, this next story gets a side eye for the sheer absurdity of it all. Because why did an adult toy bring the nation's capital to a screeching halt during morning rush hour? So the other morning in Washington, D.C., the bomb squad and a K-9 unit were called out to a firehouse in the Tenleytown neighborhood. For why? Because someone walked up to a fire station employee, left a suspicious blue and black electronic device with exposed wires right by a trash can and then just walked away. Naturally, they called in the cavalry. They shut down a major stretch of Wisconsin Avenue for nearly 2 hours. Commuters were stranded. Traffic was backed up in both directions. Lanes were blocked. People were probably texting their bosses saying they were going to be late because of a public safety emergency. Like, what is it? What could it be? Is it a bomb? So cut to 2 hours later. The bomb squad gets in there, examines the device, clears the scene, and realizes they are in zero danger. And what exactly was this highly dangerous traffic stopping contraption? According to the official police report, it was a, quote, electronic sex portable pump device. The internet did what it does, some quick detective work, and apparently it is a $350 male adult toy called Zolo Blowbot. You can deduce what it's used for, exposed wires and all. I have so many questions. First of all, who was just casually discarding a $350 sex toy behind a firehouse at 7 o'clock in the morning? Did your spouse find it? Did it malfunction mid-use and you threw a tantrum? And why did you have to leave it with, quote, exposed wires? But more importantly, what exposed wires? My simple internet search tells me it only comes with a power cord. So I don't know what the hell else he threw in that box. I have no idea. So a side eye to whoever caused a multi-mile traffic jam in DC because you didn't know how to discreetly throw away your malfunction sex toy. Next time, honey, just use a Target bag because Target and a regular dumpster like everyone else. Next up, let's talk about the tech world because I have a lot of feelings, a little bit of shine, and a whole lot of side eye to hand out. First up, these Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses. Now, in my personal opinion, I don't think they're a bad idea. According to Meta, they did put privacy protections in place in this eyewear. There is a little white LED light on the front of the frames that turns on, flashes, and pulses to let people know they're actively being recorded. But get this, and I was today years old because I did not know and I don't own a pair. Just last month in July, Meta had to roll out a mandatory hardware update because people were being absolute creeps and literally drilling the lights out or taping over that LED light. Now, if the glasses detect the light has been blocked or tampered with, the camera is supposed to completely shut down now. So a low-key shine to Meta for trying to fix that flaw, but it still gets a side eye from me because let's be real. If you are out in public living your life, you're not staring at a stranger's face looking for a tiny blinking LED light. If you aren't paying attention, you aren't going to see it. So people are comparing this to GoPros. And if you remember GoPros, right, back in the day, they still exist. But a GoPro is totally different. I have a GoPro, okay? When you wear that though, it's like a giant headband wrapped around your forehead, like an 80s sweatband. It is loud, it is proud, and everybody within a 3-block radius knows that you're filming something. These Meta glasses look exactly like a regular pair of designer frames, which is why the internet has aggressively renamed them pervert glasses. There are literally reports surfacing every day of these things being used inappropriately against women in public, and I am absolutely not down with that. But while we're on the subject of tech being used to stalk women, we need to pivot from the creeps on the street to the creeps in uniform. Because this next part isn't even up for debate. It's scary as hell. I am giving a boys in blue side eye to this terrifying trend of police officers misusing flock cameras to stalk women. If you don't know what a flock camera is, they are those automated solar powered license plate readers sitting on every pretty much corner in the world, but about 80,000 street corners across the country. They log billions of cars a month, creating a searchable database of exactly where you are, where you work, and where you sleep. Police departments claim they're a game changer for solving crimes. And as a true crime addict, dare I say expert, I can attest that they have done excellent in solving crimes, especially violent and murderous ones. But a large-scale investigation just dropped, revealing that at least 50 law enforcement officers have been caught misusing these systems, and over half of those cases involve officers using this mass surveillance technology to stalk their romantic partners, their exes, or civilian women who just casually caught their eye. In Milwaukee, an officer searched a woman's license plate over 200 times to track her movements. And the craziest part? The officer assigned to investigate him turned around and got caught doing the damn same thing. Okay. Down in Florida, a deputy used a system to track and pull over a woman he met while working security on a TV set, just because he wanted to pursue her. There was another one, I think, in Florida who stalked his ex over 200 times using false pretenses on why he was looking her up, allegedly to keep an eye on his children when they were with their mother. One, the limited amount of brain cells it took to think of that and that it would be a viable excuse. And two, to use your children as an excuse for predatory behavior, that should be a crime in and of itself. The fundamental flaw is that this system puts deeply personal data about a woman's daily movements in the hands of thousands of officers without requiring a warrant. Internal audits aren't catching them. Most of these creeps only get caught because the women notice they're being stalked and file reports themselves, or when this investigation came out, they started calling out these people. So look, overall, shout out to the tech advancements, but side eye to the absolute lack of safeguards protecting women from the people who are supposed to be protecting us. So keep your eyes open, ladies, because the surveillance is getting way too up close and personal. Okay? Look at that. We've made it to the final segment of the show. And this week, the room is a literal shock to the system. So let's read the room, okay? Keeping with the theme of technology advancements, I want to talk about a new tech upgrade hitting our streets. I just saw this with Tom Yamas breaking this down on NBC Nightly News, and it had me perplexed, to say the least. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, yes, ICE, honey, is about to spend upwards of $20 million to arm their agents with a new piece of wearable technology called shock gloves. They are manufactured by a company called Compliant Technologies, and they officially call the device the glove, which stands for Generated Low Output Voltage Emitter. Basically, they function like regular patrol gloves until the officer presses a switch to activate an electrical mode. To work, they have to be pressed directly against a person's skin to deliver an immediate sharp shock of electricity to force them into compliance. Now, again, as a certified true crime expert, is what I'm going to call myself now, let me give a little bit of support to the concept of wearable non-lethal technology. Some criminals truly do not understand what put your hands up or do not move means. So having a tool that gains compliance without needing to reach for a lethal weapon is a solid alternative. It's certainly better than a firearm, even though we all know that in a highly hostile split-second situation, an officer is probably still reaching for their firearm before trying to give you a spicy high five with some electricity, right? So I can see the theoretical benefit of wearable tech. But here's my problem. Why on earth is ICE getting $20 million worth of these things? The majority of the people they are detaining are not hardened, violent criminals. They are law-abiding individuals who are here working hard, keeping their heads down, and trying to build a better life for themselves and their families. Yet ICE is expanding its detention operations exponentially, handing out multi-billion-dollar contracts to companies with zero prior detention experience, like that messy situation at Camp East Montana on Fort Bliss. Yeah, talking to you. The largest immigration detention facility in the U.S., and arming agents with gloves that literally shock people into submission. And if we want to talk about who actually needs a background check around here, let's look at ICE itself. They are spending millions on high-tech weapons, but internal oversight is in the gutter, the garbage, right? Reports have shown massive gaps in their tracking, lost loaded firearms, and internal audits that fail to catch critical safety violations of the people they hire. Maybe if they did less overtime tracking down families and more time vetting their own operations and staff, we wouldn't see these constant safety risks or worse. And who was backing all of this institutional chaos? The administration. This brings me to the absolute laugh out loud moment of the week. There was an exchange between a reporter and your president recently where he boldly bragged, quote, "Well, a lot of people are saying I'm one of the greatest presidents ever." And without skipping a beat, the reporter said, "They're not saying that though," with a chuckle. That brilliant reality check, ladies and gentlemen, came from the reporter Jake Sherman during an interview for Punchbowl News that aired on August 7th, 2026. Feel free to go check it out and get a laugh yourself. Nobody is saying that about you, 4547. The absolute read of a lifetime for this reporter, right to his face on national television. I couldn't be prouder. Kudos. It would be hilarious, though, if the consequences weren't so tragic. My absolute final solution to this entire mess: ICE needs to be completely dismantled and rebuilt from the ground up. It is a broken agency using increasingly cruel tactics, and fixing it is going to require a completely new administration, period. Because honestly, using millions in taxpayer dollars to literally shock immigrants and families while bragging about an imaginary legacy of being the best president ever, give me a break. In closing, this wearable tech is a powerful resource that belongs, I believe, in the hands of local police departments, jails, and prisons across the country that are under-resourced, right? In high-stress, dangerous situations, arming officers with non-lethal tools like this provides a far safer alternative to reaching a better outcome rather than a firearm. And with that, ICE 4547, do us all a favor and read the room. Well, there you have it. That is our show for today, y'all. Whether you're out here checking your Powerball tickets, dodging vegetables at a Nude steakhouse, or just trying to navigate a world full of high-tech creeps, honey, keep your eyes open and stay safe out there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with a friend, and drop a comment below to let me know your thoughts on today's episode, because, honey, it was a doozy, was it not? You can always find me on IG at Opinionated Diva and on TikTok at The Opinionated Diva. Until next time, I'm your girl Tiff, signing off. Peace.